now we go. Okay, today it's gonna just be a still of some kind. I'm not 100% sure what, but I'll figure it out in a short amount of time. Don't have too much time that I want to dedicate to today. I got stuff going on later this evening. Let's see. I'm trying to think of things that I haven't done in a bit. I'm actually just going to pull up the most recent things on my web store and spell store wrong in the process and see what my most recent shirts and such are. Anything that can do softer blockheads. You know what I actually haven't done is a bunch of circular guys. It's all been... I did change my desk. I had a desk arrive yesterday and I had a late dinner because I was working through that for a while. It's nice looking outside here. I've got a slightly better position. I wanted to have a dedicated desk because you might be able to see... let's look at the feed here. No, it's slightly out of frame. But I have a TV over here, and that's my dedicated desk for everything that I was using for a long while. But then I decided I don't like putting all of my lights, cameras, and setup in general up and down every day. It takes like 10 minutes on either end, which means that I'm dedicating 20 minutes every day to something I don't need to, and I have inconsistency with the camera setups and what everything's looking like. So I decided that I would like to have a dedicated desk that doesn't have a TV, because having all the equipment in front of it means that I take it up, put it down, take it up, put it down. But this way, I don't have to do that, and it's nice. And it also just gives some more surface area. I had some other stuff around in my room, and I'm still settling into things, but it's first time really showcasing stuff using my new setup, and so that's why I'm a little bit delayed. But appreciate you joining up, Eve. Welcome. I believe you follow me on... I forget if you submitted something, but you're welcome to submit a photo of yourself or like a pet or something. And next week on Wednesday, I'm doing a selection of blind contour drawings, which is where you thinking how best I think I'm gonna have to do this like ultimately two ways. Oh, the eye in the background? Yeah, that's just the masking tape. In college I started, that's been there, just not in view. In college, in my dorms, because you can't put anything up permanently without losing, without having to pay for it, I would use masking tape to put designs on the wall, and that's been up there for a long time. I don't know how long. But I figured today I might mess with... You know, let's grab this Sharpie because it shows up better. And I'm just sketching some things out. I want to try having just some softer... Okay, cool. Having circular dudes, and only circular dudes or elongated ones for making some face loops, guys. Some angular sort of bits, but nothing too extreme. The blind contours, they don't have to be photos that are particularly great or anything like that. And that sounds dismissive, but like sometimes weirder ones work better. It's pretty forgiving and also inconsistent. And now just going through and today is a illustration day, or a still, as opposed to an animation, because I have plans with my sister and dad for dinner later. But let's see, I already have some of these filled out. Whatever, I can grab one of these. I am recording. Yep. Where's the opening that I have on this guy? Other side. Okay. And got a good amount of space on either side. So I'm gonna offset this slightly and take it down. I have to get settled into this new organization of stuff. I think this one I get to do with the... Do I have... This one's too thick. Do I have any mid-level width brushes? I can mess with one that's a little bit chunkier, but I don't have any that are super in between. I'll try this guy. Let's tighten this up just a little. Is that bright enough? It looks fine. Okay. Let's get this brush in the mix. I think first I'm just going to outline all of these. Maybe it's just a little bit more circular. It's a little bit easier when the brush itself has a sort of forced curve to it. Yeah, Eileen, how you doing? Just so you know, today is a still, so I won't be going for as long. I just decided to do an all bubbly sort of guy, all circles. You might notice that it's a different streaming setup, because it is. That's the other thing. I mentioned it to Eve, who's in this stream, that you mentioned that you were planning on maybe sending a photo of your cat for the blind contour, which you're still welcome to do. I've gotten a few pets, images of pets submitted, and I'll see. I might end up taping this down, or putting this underneath there. This desk is a little bit slicker, both because it's new and the material that it is. So this has a little less traction when I'm moving. But also, if you don't want to, no obligation, just a little reminder if you were still interested in having that, as long as you get it to me by next Tuesday, shouldn't have any issue. I need to promote that thing again. I just wanted to maybe do it like every other day. I don't know. I'll see what it is, and then maybe make a regular feed post about it. But it's whatever you're comfortable with. I'm not trying to force you, just trying to remind you if you were interested. Welcome additional people watching. A lot about getting relatively smooth lines is these are actually a little bit rough on the edges if you were to get up close looking at it, but it's having enough ink or paint on your brush and recognizing when you need to refill it. I realized that at some point when I was trying to like draw cartoons that I liked and make them, but using a acrylic paint, and you just have to like constantly refill your brush or you get these dry edges. And you also have to pay attention to how the brush is behaving and what it's doing, which I think is just a result of spending time with what it is. True of any sort of medium. The more time you spend with it, the better you understand it. Might try to do some secondary thing, because this isn't going to take way too long to do. Let's see who else is helping. Not so many folks in the chat aspect, but some folks watching. Do this a little bit more of a buffer than the reference drawing that I have. Goodbye, people who were watching for a second. Okay, now faces. Oh, I'm glad that the poster turned out well. So long as you were printing it decently. But it's also not something that's particularly like sensitive thing. These things translate pretty well to different methods of printing. And you can print them cheaper because it's just black and white. Which side do I want to be top? I think this side's better for top. Something I've realized that I tend to do, that I don't mean to, is that I almost always make the left side wider than the right side. I think it's just the fact that I start on the left side, I'm like, I've got all the space in the world, and then once I get to the right side, I'm like, actually, I don't. I'm not sure what else is getting picked up on mic, but that's a meter little car deal. I'm not that far from a moderately busy street, so you get some audio coming in here and there. This guy, guys. I don't know if I like sometimes having them all face the same direction, but you know. Have a mix. I need to be aware as I start to move a little further down the fact that I'll have this a little bit closer crop wise. Now I don't move this out of frame as I'm working, which is more an issue as I move a little further down. Alright, have a good day, Eve. Thanks for checking in. Have a good rest of your day. Not sure where you're based. I'm gonna say afternoon because that's where I'm at. Yeah, there's a Tetris sort of vibe to the interlocking of these figures. I try not to make it so they're all actual Tetris pieces. If I'm ever doing a grid, just so that it's not got that extreme understanding or reference. It doesn't seem quite as derivative. But Tetris pieces all have 4 sections to them. The Tetris references 4. Now I'm getting into that territory. Let me... Nice background behind me. It's a little bit more interesting, and also it's not quite as backlit for once. Got my new desk going, which is nice, but I'm still settling into it. It also means that when the tape flips, I have to walk over there, because I don't have the best setup for... Let's give this guy a smaller mouth. A spot where I can place a light as well as have the tape sitting at a decent distance from the at the right distance from the player itself. The camera that I have dedicated to the tape player is a little bit more finicky and a little less it's not as wide of an angle as the one that's looking at me, which is why now you're getting a more varied background, capturing more of the area behind me than before I had this capture card for doing the overhead bits. So that camera's over there with the record player and the lights sitting on top of it. This setup also means that I can have my computer on the desk as well, which is a nice change of stuff. And the scanner's here too, so I'm less hunched in general. I'm still pretty hunched over, but when it comes to scanning. I'll have a slightly different setup. I'll see if it works in the near future. What time is it? I started a little bit late, but I might try to fill this one in. Physically, just because I have some time, and it makes for a nice stream vibe to it. Zoom out a little. So I'm going to be rotating this a fair amount as I do stuff. I don't know what that emote is. PogChamp. Now I have a better understanding of, like I could see a dude just naming the emote, like Poggers or something, as like a jokey deal. Oh, it changes every day now. Because didn't the dude get arrested or something? And it's not like, here's an illustration that's been derivative, it's like an actual dude. That was the PogChamp guy. For a second I thought that was the like Gabby YouTube lady who was on Vine and then transitioned over and then has had various weird stuff and sang some songs. Still is popular. I don't think I told you, but I got to, or maybe I did. I feel like I might have, that I got to Hades and died. I got to try and fight Hades in the game Hades. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna win this, and then I died. But I had a good setup because I had like, it was a lucky selection of the upgrades or whatever, what do they call them, like boons I think is what they call them in the game. I had a lucky selection of boons and I had various things happening. I started using the like upgrade deal where you you're invincible for like a second after you get hit, so you are less likely to get quite as overwhelmed with damage stuff. I forget who I got that one from. I feel like it was one of the gods. But then I started playing a second time, but I was talking with someone on the phone and wasn't paying. I was sort of giving half attention to both sides of stuff, and so I didn't do quite as well. I could play Hades sometime on stream. And people would be like, you are okay. And you're not expressive enough to make this interesting. I'm like, sounds right. Yeah, so. Because it's been coming up on like 45 minutes. I'm expecting the tape to stop at any given moment, so I'm awaiting that. I started recording a second tape, but it's something that I just have to sort of like build up over time. I can't hyper quickly create like 5 tapes of original instrumental music. I'm going pretty fast as it is now by making like 10 minutes in a day, but that means it still takes a little over a week to fill a tape. The next tape that I'm working on, I decided that I'm gonna have like just one of the drum kits that's on my drum machine. Just focus in on like one of the sounds and make that pretty prevalent. So this one, it's the wood block. And then plan is for the next one to be bongos. And right now I just have like 2 tracks. Well, I'm not talking about anything in particular. I will reiterate that I'm doing a thing. Nice. Great presentation skills. I got distracted painting. It's bongos, but it's just sort of like trying to have a distinctive sound going on it. What was it? When this one stops, I can play a little bit of it. I've got like 2 songs on there, but I have to monitor when it stops. And then I'll switch back to the woodblock bit. And then cowbell can be centric for one of them. It's just choosing like the weirdest sound and various presets to be a focal point. Also, trying to learn new chords to use on the little synth app stuff. But anyway, what I was getting at before, since there's 5 people watching, and people are coming and going here and there, if you are interested in getting a blind contour drawing of a photo of yourself, I'm doing a live stream next week on Wednesday where I'll take images that people send me and do blind contour drawings of them on stream. If you submit an image, you have to be comfortable with me showing it on my Twitch feed as well as Instagram stories. I won't put a permanent post without asking more direct permission. And if you are submitting a photo, please have it be of yourself or someone who you have confirmed with them that they are okay with it. And a blind contour drawing is trying to draw a person or something, an image from looking at the person but not looking at your drawing implement, your pencil or your pen or whatever. And so you get interesting results. It's more a drawing exercise than it is like a technique, other than it can sort of free you up or make you be willing to take different approaches to what it is that you our drawing. Are any of these the one that I said somewhere else? Anyway, now this is actually like one of the more expensive ones that I have. Let's see if I can tell. We got like maybe 3 minutes left on this tape. Probably regardless of whichever comes first when I need to switch to scanning or when the tape ends. I'll switch it out and play the bongo tracks. How many images? I've gotten like 20 images, but they only take like 30 seconds or so to draw them. Oh, also in saying that, I didn't say how people can submit. If you follow me on Instagram, you can DM me there. That is often a little bit easier, just because you probably already have a lot of photos on your phone. But you can also email me, traceloops@traceloops.com. I'll type that in the chat. And I'll confirm with you if I've received it. So if you don't get an email or a response where I say that I've got it, you can feel free to follow up. There's a chance that I get a mix of things. I should also push this to my Tumblr, because I still have. That was one of the first things that like let me know that I had something on the radar on Tumblr, which was like would make it so like you immediately got a bunch of followers and interaction. But I was doing a thing where I was doing drawings based on photos that people submitted, and I had like 20 or 40 submissions, where before I had like 3. And I was like, what's happening here? And it's because of a radar feature. Which now the radar doesn't do anything because it's such a mixed interaction and consumption by the people on the platform, and most of the radar is centralized around ads. But you can submit an image there, and what I'll do is I'll have a feed of the images that I'm referencing, and then I think the only way that it really works is I still need to figure out the logistics, but I'll have a slideshow running on my computer that I'm not looking at because it has the live feed of the overhead camera as well. But just have a bunch on my phone, and then I'll be swiping through them and looking that way. It's a little bit of an odd setup because it's an odd practice to be just displaying it for everyone else but yourself, what you're drawing. And you have to sort of have a personal discipline. When I first did it, like in high school, I think we'd have physical barriers, like you'd put a folder on top of your hands as you were drawing and look at someone else. Or you could do a blind contour self-portrait. It's not a great age to have the confidence to do stuff incorrectly, or not what you'd think to be proper or exact. It's fun if you can let yourself be free in that way, but you have to be willing to have things turn out unexpectedly. And I didn't like that the first time that I tried it, but now I really enjoy it. First it was like, how am I supposed to make this look like what I want it to look like when I can't look at it? And the answer is you can't. I'm gonna finish filling in this tiny bit, put on the bongo tracks that are like 10 minutes of audio, and then I just need to monitor the playback. I'm talking out loud as to what my methodology has to be. So that's painted. I timed it out pretty well, accidentally. After a while, the Bongo Boys, Boise. This one's called Woodblock. This tape is a little bit messed up because I tried to do something where you can make a physical loop of the tape within the cassette, which means the actual magnetic tape on this is like a couple feet shorter because I messed up a couple times. Bongo time. Okay, let's see. Capture. Let's pull up this guy. Show this one. Waiting for scanner. I think sometimes this has issues if I leave it plugged in, so. Okay, alright, just quit out of that. Wait, did I? Oh man. That's what, I cut out that feed for a second. Nope, I just realized there's a tiny bit of space. I unplugged and plugged in the wrong thing. The audio might be quieter on this. Let me. Now we got this going. One thing that is different is if I'm leaning over this way. I'm still in frame. Okay. Photoshop. 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 Oh, I haven't scanned it actually. Copy that. Other. Nope, I need to go one higher. Folder. And this one, 14. Choose that spot. Custom size, just grab the full guy. I'm making this 1200. Let's scan. No, I don't have to use that. That's not what I wanted. I want to open a different file. Designs, 114, round faces. This one's not going to be terribly different or like a huge reveal of the animation of the thing sort of coming to life. It's just going to be cropping it down a bit so that it doesn't have the edges present. And darkening it a little bit. Right now this is a pretty large image. So let's darken it. See if we can use a little bit of texture in there. Make sure my brightness is up. Is my hair darker? Yeah. Okay. Make this just not percent. I want this to be pixels. 1080. 1080 is okay for right now. This is in the right spot. Now, tone.jpg. I'll open this up. Okay. There you go. It's not like you don't see a huge difference. It's not it coming to life and moving. While I'm still here, I'm going to prep this for Instagram. Did I actually crop on the bottom bit? Not quite enough. Let's redo that. Actually, I can go forward with this. That's nothing. Let's make this height 1350, and then 1080 wide, and blow out the texture a little bit. And for Instagram, we'll just make it solid with it. Okay. It's just me taking some time, taking a moment here to prep it for a different platform, but it's not actually changing what stuff is. Okay, and I don't think I need to have this window capture running anymore. Give a little compare and contrast. There's not really a huge difference visually. You just can see the more exaggerated texture. When it's pushed flat, those wrinkles become a little bit more exaggerated on the scanner, and on the scanner it also has more highlights of the textural elements. Bongo Boy still playing? Yep, Bongo's still running. Well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them out there. I'm gonna type in my spiel stuff in a moment. It's a speed run, I guess, for me. It's about an hour, but if it's an illustration, it would have been even faster. If I hadn't filled these in physically, if I had done it digitally. This is probably the easiest to understand live stream that I've done in a while. It's more straightforward. It's nice that speed run for me is 1 hour as opposed to like 4. Okay, so spiel time. If you want to watch this live stream in full or previous live streams in full, there's a number that you can watch here on Twitch, but you can also go further back on youtube.com/traceloops, where you can also find some sped up versions that are a little bit more high quality. A 24-hour stream, I can't stay up for 24 hours. Even when I was younger, doing an all-nighter, not gonna work. You can watch me sleep, watch me drool. That feels mildly uncomfortable to me. Anyway, so you can find those. That's the YouTube stuff. If you want to buy this design on a shirt or other designs and some other merch, you can go to traceloops.com/store. If you are interested in having things in that store sent to you out and you're outside the US, you can email me to figure out what the price difference is going to be, because shipping's more expensive, and to just facilitate that to happen. Traceloops.com, and to do that, you can email me traceloops@traceloops.com. If you want to follow me on different platforms, I'm on Instagram.com/traceloops. I'm also on TikTok. And you can also, if you want to, follow me on Tumblr, which I'm not sure who is going here or there. I should start doing little things like, hey, you can watch this on Tumblr, because I feel like people who are using Tumblr are more likely to be utilizing desktop stuff. Yeah, pretty fast stream. Not too much going on with it. I think I max out at like 4 hours, because that's the time in between meals and snacking and taking a break, using the bathroom, etc., etc. I'll also throw out the thing. Again, I'm gonna stop streaming, or not stop streaming, stop recording.